Let's be honest, starting a new business is incredibly exciting. But before you go out and print 1,000 glossy business cards, you've got to lock down the absolute perfect name. And here in Louisiana, well, that's not just a fun marketing exercise, it's actually a pretty strict legal hurdle. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to navigate Louisiana's unique business naming landscape together so you can start your journey on the right foot, completely legally compliant, and ready to build your empire.
You might have brainstormed the absolute best name for your brand. But here's the critical question we really have to answer. Is your perfect business name actually legal? Securing a catchy name is one thing, but getting it past the Louisiana Secretary of State, that's our very first test. And missing even a single detail here can literally result in your formation paperwork getting rejected outright.
See, unlike some states that just do a simple letter-for-letter spelling comparison, Louisiana enforces a really strict standard of name distinguishability. They will actively reject business names for phonetic similarities or intentional misspellings. This is a high-stakes environment that trips up so many beginners who just kind of assume that swapping an S for a Z will magically make their name unique. Spoiler alert, it definitely won't.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap for today. We'll cover 1. Louisiana naming rules, 2. Brainstorming and the state search, 3. Checking trademarks and domains, 4. Reserving your business name, and finally, a quick summary, next steps, and disclaimer. Let's jump right into part 1, Louisiana naming rules. What's really fascinating here is just how exact the state requires you to be. Every formal business structure legally requires a specific statutory identifier right at the end of its name. So if you're forming an LLC, you absolutely must use limited liability company, or abbreviations like LLC or LC. If you're a corporation, it's got to be Incorporated, Corporation, Inc., or Corp. And here is a massive red flag to watch out for. You are strictly forbidden from putting the phrase doing business as or the abbreviation DBA anywhere in your formal legal name. If you fail to use the exact statutory identifier, your paperwork gets automatically rejected by the commercial division. No exceptions. Beyond just those suffixes, there are restricted words you really need to keep on your radar. You can't just slap the word bank, trust, insurance, engineering, or architecture into your name unless you have official approval from the relevant state licensing boards. Plus, you can't use words like state or parish in any way that falsely suggests your business is somehow affiliated with a government agency. It's really all about preventing everyday consumers from being misled. Let's look at how that strict distinguishability rule we talked about earlier actually plays out in the real world. Let's say Quick Cajun Catering is an existing business already registered in Louisiana. If you try to register Quick Cajun Catering, swapping out the C's for K's, your application is gonna be rejected. The state's phonetic check will instantly flag these as deceptively similar. You've got to be truly, completely unique. All right, moving on to Section 2, Brainstorming and the State Search. Your absolute best friend for checking if a name is taken is the Cora Web or GoBiz commercial search portal. This is a completely free, publicly accessible database provided right by the Louisiana Secretary of State. You don't even need to log in or create an account to run a basic entity name search. It's incredibly thorough, too, tracking every active, dissolved, forfeited, and reserved entity on file in the entire state. So what's the most effective way to actually use this thing? Step 1, access the portal. Step 2, and listen up, because this is a really clever insider tip. Search only the single most distinctive word of your proposed name. Leave off the punctuation, and definitely leave off those entity designators like LLC. Louisiana's tool matches from the start of the name, so if you type in a whole string of words, you might actually hide a conflict from yourself. Then, step 3, whenever you see a close match, click into the details to check its exact legal status. And while you're checking that status, beware of this massive pitfall. You might see a business name listed as revoked and think, awesome, it's abandoned, I'll just take it. Well, not so fast. In Louisiana, the names of revoked entities remain firmly blocked and off limits for a full 3 years. So even if the business looks totally dead in the water, the name might still be legally protected and completely unavailable to you. Which brings us to Section 3, Checking Trademarks and Domains. Let's say you've got a green light from the Louisiana Secretary of State. Awesome, but is your name clear nationwide? This is exactly where we have to shift our focus away from the state-level database and look at federal legalities plus your digital real estate. Because remember, state approval absolutely does not equal federal protection. To secure your brand comprehensively, you really have to run some secondary searches. First up, you need to search the USPTO. That's the United States Patent and Trademark Office database. That is the Federal Trademark Registry. Second, check the Louisiana Secretary of State's own trademark database for state-level marks. And third, don't forget to check domain name registrars and social media platforms. You want to make sure the .com is actually available for your business, and that you can lock down cohesive social handles so your future customers can actually find you online. There is a super common and honestly potentially very expensive misconception here. State SOS approval only clears you on the state registry, meaning another LLC in Louisiana can't use your exact name. But federal USPTO registration, that is what actually protects you against nationwide trademark lawsuits. If a company in California has a federal trademark on a name and you innocently register it as an LLC in Louisiana, that California company can still challenge your use of the name. So please, always check federal trademarks. Okay, let's move to Section 4, reserving your business name. So, you've done the work and found the perfect available name. The absolute best part? You don't have to launch the whole company today just to save it. For just $25, you can file an optional name reservation with the state. It is an incredibly cost-effective way to protect your brand while you're still getting all your paperwork in order. The timeline is pretty straightforward. On day 1, you file Form 398, either through the GoBiz online portal or by mail. For the next 120 days, your chosen name is securely held in your hands. Literally, no one else can register it. This buys you 120 days of much-needed breathing room to draft your articles of organization, iron out your business plan, and finalize your big launch. Just keep in mind, on day 120, that reservation expires. If you haven't filed your actual formation documents by then, poof, the name goes right back up for grabs. Let's wrap things up with Section 5, summary, next steps, and our disclaimer. First, let's talk numbers. I want to lay out the hard costs of setting up the business entity so you have absolutely zero surprises. If you're forming an LLC, the state filing fee is $105. If you decide you want to operate under a different brand name, like a trade name or a DBA, that registration is $75. Every year after that, you'll owe a $35 annual report fee just to stay in good standing. Oh, and if you're in a massive rush to get your paperwork processed, you can toss in an extra $30 for expedited 24-hour processing. Now, the sequence in which you do things next matters immensely. Please do not apply for tax IDs before your name is officially approved. Step 1 must always be registering your business with the Louisiana Secretary of State. Once they approve it, and only then, you can safely move to Step 2, which is obtaining your EIN, your Employer Identification Number, from the IRS. Finally, Step 3 is registering for state taxes and any specific operational permits you might need. Sticking to this sequence ensures a totally seamless launch and prevents you from ending up with mismatched tax IDs tied to a rejected business name. What a headache that would be. Before we officially wrap up, I do need to impart a quick disclaimer. This explainer provides educational guidance and practical frameworks based on state documentation. It is not legal advice. Naming rights and intellectual property can get incredibly complex very quickly. We highly recommend consulting with a legal professional or reaching out to the Louisiana Secretary of State directly if you have highly specific concerns or complex trademark issues. Better safe than sorry, right? Finding and securing the perfect business name in Louisiana definitely takes a little bit of patience, some pretty smart searching, and a careful eye for the rules. But honestly, it's the ultimate foundation of your brand. So here's the question I want to leave you with today. You've navigated the obstacle course, you've rigorously checked the databases, and you've secured the perfect legal name. Are you ready to build the empire behind it? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and best of absolute luck on your entrepreneurial journey.